It is.
Still thinking about opening up. That had one open we just need stuff 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I would be nice if we could both go
Okay.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Y'all ready for Christmas?
I don't
We
think
got
so.
some new tables.
Well, thank you.
You didn't put a big red bow on it.
It costs too much money.
Yeah.
Ask Amanda.
I know y'all be glad to get in over there.
Yeah. So, did I read this week they're asking for somebody to help in grants too? Help you? Wow.
Between that and our contracts and honestly, we need somebody to do
Yeah.
our like fixed assets. But you know, like, I'd love to have somebody to. We ain't done an inventory in a year, 100
Right,
years.
right.
You know, and there's stuff on our books from the 1920s. Well, I know we ain't got that stuff, but who has time to go around and
That's
look
right.
for it? You know, so.
Everybody go, go, go.
He's got a brace.
No, I was going to ask her, is she okay?
Well, I guess it's a sling instead of a brace.
That candy there's for everybody out.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you.
I already grabbed
Yeah, I don't miss none of that. It's mine. I'm armed.
We used to watch a little cartoon when my son was little, and the little cactus, it was a cactus,
Yeah.
and he said, "This is a sticky up." I still like it. Every time I hear stick up, that's all I can think of. Sticky up, sticky up. It's a sticky up.
Make sure when Amanda stands up her dress.
Even though I have a slip,
If I tug you, you won't get mad, will you?
my dress is stuck to my tights and it's up to here.
I said I will after I get done laughing.
He will. Absolutely. But it's okay.
I try not to anyway.
I'm not kind of a friend.
It's kind of my phone. So it's cold.
Call the Hamblen County Legislative Body committee meetings order for December 8th, 2025. Welcome everybody here. Commissioners, make sure you turn your mics on. Anyone that's coming to the podium to speak, please feel free to adjust the mic so you can get, so we can hear you a little bit better. Some people have a hard time picking up, so if you'll do that, you'll make it easier on everybody. So I do appreciate that. We'll move into our committees now. We'll start with the Justice Center Public Safety Committee. Chairman Tim Horner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll call the Justice Center Public Safety Committee to order. Anyone wishing to address may do so at this time. You'll have 3 minutes. Seeing none. Number 3A, no business. Number 4A, Justice Center project update, Jaron Dowater, Burwell Construction.
Good evening. In regards to progress out there, the contractor is continuing to finalize all of the punch list items, the security issues that, not issues, but security items that had to be addressed. All the civil items that were out and outstanding are all, should be completed by the end of this week. So they're just working through all of that. We'll keep it short tonight because there's no change orders to present as of now. And we're working to get it finally complete.
Any questions? Commissioner Green?
Chairman Hall, Mr. Chairman, and I apologize, I probably messed up on your last name. Me and Mr. Neesmith were talking before the meeting. How many courtrooms will that make? I know substantially, the last time we toured, I was thinking there was 3, but I was telling him, I thought they said there was some rooms that they could convert for that use if they needed to. Have they decided exactly how many courtrooms we're gonna have over there?
There's 3 courtrooms
Okay,
that I know of, yes.
so the other ones, if they need them at some point, sir?
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
there's room for expansion in that, yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Jerry. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Horner. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Dowald. Move now to our Finance Committee, and I'll call on Chairman Rodney Long.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Call the Finance Committee to order. Is anybody wishing to address this committee at this time? 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll go to number 3, recurring business. That is your expenditure reports and your monthly checks. No action is necessary on those. We have no old business, so we will move into the new business. We will start with item 5A. That is the JBI renewal agreement for the SCAAP grant. County Mayor Chris Cutshaw.
Commissioners, this is Justice Benefits Incorporated. It's a renewal and extension of an agreement that we have been in since April of 2013. Basically, what we do is we have a professional services agreement with this company, Justice Benefits, and they handle our state criminal alien assistance program. And what that is, we get grant money back from the federal level, and they will administer that monies to help us when we deal with, just as I said, the criminal alien assistance. They're not from this country, basically. So it helps us with that, and that is through a program that's been ongoing. Every 3 years, we've renewed this contract with this service, and I'm asking that you consider to renew that to continue.
Does anyone have any questions? Commissioner Green?
Mr. Mayor, how much have they paid us in the past since we've had that last year, considering we've had that contract that long? How much did we make? If I read it correctly, they get 15% of
That
what
is
they-
correct, 15%. We've collected, our award last year was $6,216.
One more time, please.
$6,216.
Okay. My question to you is, why can we not, being that our gentlemen and ladies at the Sheriff's Department that have to, if I understand the procedure correctly, and Sheriff Bollins is welcome to correct me, because I'm sure he knows more about it than I do, but we have to put in where they're from and all their information into the computer system. So why do we not just farm this out to somebody as a contract employee that works at the Sheriff's Department instead of bringing in a complete new company that, because once they put it in, they're going to have a lot of the information in hand.
It's my estimation that 15%, paying them 15% of $6,216 is a lot cheaper than another employee. That is my estimation. But I'll yield to Sheriff Mullins.
Can I clarify my question before you yield, hon?
Yes, ma'am.
And I apologize, I shouldn't have called you that, Mr. Mayor. I'm not talking about hiring a new employee. Let me foremost say that, because that's an additional expense by the time you count Medicare, Social Security match, and benefits otherwise. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this is a contract for them to furnish a service. Why can we not do it like we have several of our others as contract employees and do it that way?
I think that's what we're doing, isn't it? We're contracting a service
Yeah, but you
for
are with a company
15%.
outside of Hamblen County. Why not keep our money at home?
Ma'am, I can't answer that, I don't guess. This company works with the DOJ and is more adequate or more available to take care of this on the federal level. That's my understanding. Again, this is a program that's been in place since April of 2013.
I had read some details from one of the other counties, and the amount that county recouped by doing it themselves was astounding compared to 6,000. That's what I
Okay.
was getting at.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Ahern. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Huntsman. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Move to 5B, TDEC grant bid recommendation for the stormwater projects. County Major Cutshaw.
Yes. Commissioners, we voted to apply for and received a TDEC stormwater grant. And those bids for this grant project are before you. Submitted through our engineering firm. Mr. Greer has submitted the bids for this project and has recommended that we accept the base bid and added alternate bid contract to be awarded to Complete Construction Management. All that information follows in your packet as far as the details of where these monies will be spent and what is recommended for construction, contract constructor.
Anyone have any
Sorry,
questions?
Complete Construction. Go ahead.
Ms. Green.
Quick question, Mr. Mayor. Our situation in Seven Oaks, Chairman Hahn's district, that they have addressed several times, that have been ongoing from my understanding for the last 6 years. Will any of this money go to help that situation? solve?
Ma'am, in your bid packet, it states where this money is going for right now.
So, and I didn't notice that, so where is it going?
Ma'am, if you look at your bid packet that's in before you, that was received, Deerwood Shadows, which has been an ongoing problem. Meadows subdivision on Kidwell's, Deerwood Shadows is on the east end and off of Brights Pike. Meadows subdivision, which is off of Kidwell's Ridge Road, and Brady Drive, which is, forgive me, the subdivision. It is on the west end, but it's
Is that behind Sun
Alpha
Trust Bank?
Heights. Alpha Heights.
Or Truist Bank, yeah.
Alpha Heights. And if there's anything, ma'am, other than that, I guess it would have to be submitted as far as that work. I was understanding that we're working on Seven Oaks, but I do not know the extent. No, sir. It's up to the chairman. It's not my floor.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Give you 3 minutes.
I don't know if there's enough for all of us or not. If there's not, I'll send mine on down. Here, send this on down. Yeah, but I don't think there's,
My name is Leo Shalhoub. My address is 5665 Chestnut Oak Drive, Morristown, Tennessee, Seven Oaks. I have approached this commission several times, the Planning Commission, the Road Commission. It took me several years to try to get this flooding problem that has damaged 4 homes. They have recently replaced the culvert, as you can see in the first page. I made pictures, and these are as of today. The problem about that culvert is when the water comes out, it's hitting 1.5 inch to 2 inches of water where the water can't go. I have met with Jeff Weisgarber there on that day because it looked like it wasn't leaning. He said it was 5 inches, but when we put the transit on, it was 3 inches. He said he can't go any further, and that's a stormwater division problem. So that water is going to be sitting in that culvert, and it's going to create mosquitoes. Mosquitoes carry diseases. On the other side of it, and this has only been done for about 2 to 3 weeks, you can see that the debris is starting to fill up. So we're going back to that same problem again. Mr. Weisgarber also told me that they're going to mill the road down and put curbs up, but he can't put concrete curbs because they don't have a machine to do that. Has it been touched? No. This is the back of my house. We have tree roots that are exposing. The trees that I'm showing you, And that line there, that is where the property line is. I can't do nothing with those trees. I can't touch them. They're not mine. Now, the plat does show that the county does has easement to that. Now, I was trying to get all the pictures done, but I have another one, and I'll especially give one to the mayor, and I give one on each side, that some type of piping is exposed, and then the tree is being held up by the roots. On one of the pictures, I believe I showed you how it looks like from the culvert where you can drive a lawnmower in it. I can't do it. My culvert now is 20 feet wide and 6 to 8 inches deep. And Chairman Hahn has been out there several times, and I've asked him, can you get down there? He can't. Now, I'm getting conflicting stories that I have to maintain it, and the city has to the county has to maintain it. Everybody's pointing fingers at each other, but they're not looking at the three that's pointing to themselves. These homes have been damaged, and this is willful negligence. And I've been coming after this and bringing this to y'all's attention for years. And, what's this thing? No. On the stormwater, Tommy McKinney told me January that they had money for it. And when March came around, he says we don't have the money for it. How come this project right here wasn't put into this bid?
Sir, your 3 minutes is up.
Thank you.
I did give you the liberty to speak on this, even though this finance committee cannot do anything as far as that tonight. So go back to the TDEC. Do I have a motion?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Doty. Do I have a second by Mr. Huntsman? Any other discussion?
Yes,
Ms. Howe?
yes, sir, thank you. Not only is Seven Oaks, but the road on Merle Road. And when I look, I mean, these must be really bad, but we've got a Seven Oaks problem and we have a Merle Road problem where how homes are being damaged, property is being damaged, and I need somebody to say, oh, don't worry, you're next. Anybody?
Well, this
hope that
TDEC grant
road
just
is next.
applies to these that we
Yes, sir.
have
Yes,
here,
sir.
and that's all we can, vote on tonight. So.
How did they get, do we know how they got selected?
Well, let me address that.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Howell, Brady Drive is in my district,
Yes, sir.
and I had taken pictures a few years back where when they get excessive amount of rain, they get a pond in the road, and it affects, I think, 3 houses. People can't get out of their driveways, and it may be days before the water recedes. I've got one picture. I think I'd sent one to Mr. Britton. I don't know if he still has it, but there was a lady had her daughter out there in a kayak, and she was kayaking around. So this was kind of a priority thing with Brady Drive. This has been an ongoing problem. We've had engineers out there. Mr. Greer's been out there. I know the mayor and we drove around several months back, and this problem is just untenable, and these people are being blocked from getting out of their driveway. If they're gone when it rains, they can't get back into their houses. So it's become really an issue of prioritizing, who needs it the worst. Does that help?
I just want to make sure if we have these three neighborhoods or roads, how do we get Seven Oaks and how do we get Merle Drive on a list after this one is completed? That's my real question.
Well, Seven Oaks has been addressed. They didn't come out there and do a lot of work. Put a new culvert in. Yeah. So we don't really know whether that'll solve the problem yet or not, but hopefully it will. Going to do. Oh, yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Does anybody else have a question?
I have one, if I might,
Green.
sir. Quick question. How do we, the grant that the mayor has brought to our attention, and it sounds wonderful, so whoever who did the paperwork, thank you. How do we get it in gear for these people to be eligible for that, wherever we've got that problem? Not just your district, but every district that's got that problem. How do we address that to make sure we get it in the listing?
I think that'll be something we'll have to get the mayor to bring and present to us. We can't address it tonight because we don't have the stuff in front of us. Has anybody else got any more questions?
Chairman, real quick, on that issue, once this is settled, what's already in place, if there's monies left in this grant, or we can look for other grants, you make it sound like we've tried to neglect someone. We did not. These issues have always been there. We're trying to take them one by one. And the issue of Seven Oaks maybe wasn't on the forefront when it first came up. Maybe that was the issue. I can't answer that. But I do know Deerwood Shadows, Meadows, and Brady Drive have always had their issues as well. It wasn't trying to neglect anyone. It's just trying to move forward with what we can.
If you took it like I said as a neglect, I'll apologize to you. My point was to getting the folks some relief, and that's our duty as county commissioners. So if you took it otherwise, Mr. Mayor, I apologize to you, sir.
Any other questions?
Mr. Carter.
I got one right there.
Mr. Carter?
Yeah, just simply, my company is very familiar with these grants. These are actually a one-time grant. The company that I work for, we do utilities. These are they're one-time. They have to have an expenditure by the end of September of 2026, period. There's no other motive for it to come back. My company works across East Tennessee with this exact same funding right now for utilities. So after December 15th, there is communities across the state that may not have used all of the same funds that have the option for communities like maybe it's stormwater to go back and reapply for more. But again, it has to be installed and usable by September 2026, end of story. That's how these work. So there is a time frame of work to be done, and whether you want to add it or not may not matter for this particular one.
Any other questions?
May I ask one more, please?
Yes, one more, Ms. Green.
So and I put that the wrong way, so I apologize to Commissioner Wild. If there's money left when they address the ones that the mayor spoke of, because I'm afraid I'll leave one out, is there a chance that we could possibly put it toward some of these other neighborhoods that are having some of the same problems?
If you're looking for an answer, I just said that. If we have money left over, then certainly we can move forward with that. I thought I made that clear earlier. I'm sorry.
You're fine, but could I ask one more favor? Could we possibly get a report on when it's spent, what's left, if there is any, so that we know that we have a chance of helping these other folks?
Yes,
sir?
ma'am, but as you well know, projects sometimes run over.
Yes, sir.
So these projects have to begin and be adjudicated before we will know that. It could be a time frame before we'll know the end of the story.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Go to 5C, additional employees. Mayor Cutshaw.
Commissioners, if you'll look, we are at a point in growth and need in our county. There's so many things coming at us with the need of extended services or timely manner to take care of things. Our first employee tonight has been requested by our General Sessions judges. Judge Collins and Judge Simkowski has requested that we look for a Chief Magistrate Administrative Assistant position. So it is my recommendation that we take this matter up, and I would like to call on one of the judges, please, to come forward and make your case.
Good evening. I will be as brief as I can on the front end and be more than happy to answer any questions. The position that we are seeking is Chief Magistrate and Administrative Assistant. This is the Administrative Assistant portion of this would be shared by myself and Judge Collins. We're not asking for each of us to have our own assistant. The responsibilities of this individual would be public arraignments, appointing attorneys to indigent defendants, scheduling cases for General Sessions Division 1 and 2, management of calendars for both courts, which includes scheduling and the rescheduling of cases when necessary, answering, returning phone calls and emails from litigants and attorneys, and typing orders prepared by our courts. We believe that this would allow, due to the increase in cases and complexity of litigation in the courts, for more efficient and timely setting and hearing of these cases. It really has three responsibilities: chief magistrate, administrative assistant for myself, administrative assistant for Judge Collins. So that's what we're asking for.
Any questions? Nate Smith?
Have you got somebody doing it now, Doug and Justin?
I do not have an administrative assistant. Judge Collins does not either.
So nobody's doing this job now?
Well, the scheduling of cases, I'll speak for myself and let Judge Collins speak for himself, through General Sessions Court is done. If an attorney has a case, they'll pick a date when they know I'm having General Sessions Civil Court. They'll call it or get that date from the clerk's office. It goes out or gets issued by the clerk, it goes out for service. So I don't know what I've got until I get the docket emailed to me the day before most of the time. So it could be 200, it could be very few, and on those days where most of the time it's not very few, but on those days where it's a lot, if I had an assistant that those cases could be scheduled through, I could even out the caseload. And on the days where we don't have as much to do, I could do special settings. If we have construction litigation that is detailed, may take 5 to 6 hours to hear that case, believe it or not, we have quite a bit of that. I could set those on those days where we don't have as many. So it just makes us more efficient.
You mentioned a clerk. Have you got a clerk doing this now, scheduling it now?
The clerk's office handles the scheduling of those cases right now.
Sorry.
The clerk's office handles the scheduling of those cases right now.
But your assistant you're gonna get will start doing that.
Yes, sir.
And that's lightening the load on them, right?
It would lighten the load on the clerk's office for sure.
Clerk's office.
And here's an important note. What I think is important is that those folks that come in and their matter's relatively simple, if they get behind a case that's going to take a while, they don't have to come back. We can handle this. I can handle this more efficiently. If I know on the front end I've got a case that's going to take 4 or 5 hours, I can specially set that case for that day and redistribute the vast majority of the cases for days. And it's one of those situations that I don't like to reset things if we can get it done. People miss work. It just makes us more efficient.
You wouldn't be overloading it then. You could fix it where you wouldn't overload
Yep,
it.
that's right.
Any other questions? Mr. Horner?
So some days, like you said, when you come in, you could have 100 on the docket, and some days you come in, they'd be 20.
Could be. I think the most I've counted, best I do it, usually it's averages about 5.5 per page. One day we had 187 on a Tuesday. That's too many to effectively, if any of those folks want hearings, it's really hard to put a hearing in that. We can. What you're looking at mostly is if several people want hearings on those cases, they're looking at coming back on a day that's less busy. So, and what that means is they've missed work. The attorney has to get their witness back. So it's just not the most efficient way to handle it.
Any other questions?
Mr. Long, if I might.
Mr. Doty?
If just a point of view, I've worked as a court officer in that court for many, many years. Judge Collins, as interim judge, sat the bench there. And I have seen the days, as Judge Simkowski's saying, that there was 193, I think, was the biggest day. Ms. Noy actually worked that court as an attorney several times, and you'd have people scattered throughout this building trying to work things out with attorneys so they didn't come before. On times, as Judge Simkowski said, that there was discrepancies or folks wanted to be heard by the judge, it could extend it out for 4 or 5 days as you spread things out, which did really inconvenience all the parties involved. And this will make it much more efficient, much easier to handle the load, and I think it'll be a great benefit for the county.
One thing I would like to add, what I want to do is if a person, and a lot of times on Thursdays, I'll have a lot of cases where people are representing themselves. I don't want them to get frustrated with court and the court process and not feel like they can be heard. They're going to be heard. They're going to get their trial if they want a hearing. But if I tell them, if I've got 3 in front of them, we're not going to be able to hear your case, Mr. Doe, today and against ABC Construction, it frustrates them because they don't understand why. Because the case in front of them, it looks to them like I may think it's more important. I don't. It's just I'm going down the docket. So I want to make sure that everyone, if I have an assistant and she can ask prior to scheduling, how long do you think this matter is going to take? Is it going to be a hearing? Yeah, it's going to take about 3 hours. We can set that on a day and know and set the rest of the cases accordingly to how much time they may take. So it's just going to be a benefit and help us to be more effective and efficient, give people timely hearings, which I believe in, and it's just going to, we're going to operate, I've already said this, we're going to operate more efficiently.
Thank you very much. Mr. Judge Collins, would you like to say something before we take a vote on this?
Sure, to answer the question, the only thing I would add to what Judge Simkowski said is that I think it's the Administrative Office of Courts requires us to have a means for the public to contact us now. And what we are both seeing because of that is litigants, pro se litigants, contacting us individually, talking about their cases outside of the court, which creates ethical problems for the judges. And so, because they'll tell us things, and then all of a sudden we know more than we're supposed to know before we actually hear a case, and then that could possibly exclude us, which means I got to get Judge Simkowski to cover my case, or vice versa, or sometimes we have to go out of county and bring a judge in. So we're hoping to funnel that kind of communication into an administrative assistant so she can avoid all of those ethical conflicts.
In addition to being chief magistrate as well.
Right.
So it's really 3 positions combined to 1. Hopefully that'll be economically feasible and responsible of us asking for that. The communications that Judge Collins talks about, if I get a voicemail, I've got to listen to it. If they start talking about a case, I have to hang it up. And then on my voicemail function, I've got a number to call from. I'll write the number down immediately, and if I hear this is so-and-so, I've got a case, I hang up. I try to get someone from the clerk's office, and that's not really their job, to call this person back and address this individual with what concern they may have about when their case is, maybe they're sick and can't be there. So it'll help a lot.
Thank both of you very much. We appreciate everything you do. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
By Ms. Ahern. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Richard Richardson. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Go to C2, additional employee for the technical specialist here in the courthouse. Mayor?
Yes, we're on the cusp also of growth in our information technology division. We have currently Does anyone know how many employees we have in Hamblen County that takes care of all of our computers and all of our systems? If something goes down, how many employees do we have? Does anybody know?
I'd guess one.
We have one.
Jeff.
That is correct.
And he
And
answers his emails and he answers questions, so.
He's overworked and he's underpaid. I'll just say that. But truly, we have demand from one end of our county services to the other of an additional employee in information and technology. If Jeff's not here today, if he calls in sick, we're down. And I mean, it's incumbent upon us to look forward, be progressive in this idea. We need some backup. We need him to have some help. And that's what I'm coming to you for. I'm asking for an information technology specialist. It will be his subordinate, if you will. It will work with him. But I intend for this new employee to know what Jeff knows. If Jeff can't be here, this person can carry on. That is the idea. Yes.
Full-time, part-time, sir.
It'll be a full-time position.
Thank you, sir.
Is any other questions? Ms. Howe?
Yes, sir, thank you. So I'm just noticing, so this is just through the rest of the year?
Yes, ma'am. It is. If it is approved by this body, this finance committee, and goes to our full commission, the budget amendments later in our meeting will reflect 6 months.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Ahern, second by Commissioner Huntsman. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. C3 is additional employee grant coordinator in purchasing and special project assistant. Mayor?
Again, I'm requesting that we add an additional employee with grant administration, project purchasing assistant. Not only does this person, currently it's Barbara Horton. She handles it. One person, once again, handles all of our grant administration, our special projects, helping with purchasing and bidding. Last year alone, $3 million worth of grants coming into our county, and that require monthly or quarterly reporting, plus new maintenance agreements, plus contracts. That's what this department does, and it's a department of one. Again, it is well warranted and worth to keep up that we do not let something fall through the cracks, whether it be a maintenance agreement or a contract or grant reporting, where we lose out on that. $3 million that she handled last year. Not only her, I mean, there's some other, like the Sheriff's Department was involved in some of the information that comes in, but yet most of it flows back through Barbara Horton. And I'm asking this commission, please, the Finance Committee, to approve an additional employee for her department.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Doty. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Howe. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, additional employees for maintenance and housekeeping for the new Justice Center.
And that is correct. I'm asking this Finance Committee to consider adding an additional employee. Each building has its own person that housekeeps, that keeps up in day-to-day operations. When the Justice Center opens, we're asking that one employee be placed. We don't know for sure what it looks like, but one employee be placed there to take care of day-to-day operation within that facility. At some point, we probably will have to contract a cleaning service. It's a huge building. It's a brand-new building. I've heard it more than once. We want to maintain and keep this building at its toppest or highest level. But my point is, one employee that would be there on the job day to day, cleaning the floors, hot spots, garbage, whatever it may be, just housekeeping duties for that one facility. Any questions?
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Howe. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Harville. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We will move to 5D, future capital projects, capital improvements for the Old Justice Center and the Sheriff's Department. Mr. Mayor?
Okay. Commissioners, I'd like for you, everyone, to consider the idea that was proposed all along. Once the new jail and justice center is completed, what's left will be the Sheriff's Department. Not only Sheriff's Department, but it will also house juvenile services. And what else? Is there another? I think that's it. But within the Sheriff's Department, right now they're cramped. For example, the detectives are in one small room currently. They're having to do their work. What is going to be proposed to you is the renovation of the current Justice Center / Sheriff's Department to the Sheriff's Department and Juvenile Services. Before you is a plan to do this. Some work has been done. Former Mayor Britton has helped along the way. He and I have been in discussion. He has gracefully accepted to help me put this together. We've got some numbers we'd like to present tonight. But the idea has always been that as we simultaneously move to the new Justice Center, that we look at renovating the Sheriff's Department for them. It'll include several things such as detectives, new flooring. There's a plan before you. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Bill to let him give the rundown of that.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everybody, and it's good to be back in front of you. At your seat is a presentation, and that's what we'll be showing on the screen, and that's what I'll be following as we go through the proposal. This first slide is just to kind of set the basis. This is what currently is in the Justice Center. We're talking the top floor, the ground floor of the Justice Center, not where the jail is underneath. This is where the green area is the court system, the clerk's office, the criminal courtroom, the sessions courtroom. That's the green area. The red area are rooms that the Sheriff's Department now operates in. That's Sheriff's Department space. The blue area is juvenile court services, and that's where Cindy Doty and her team operate. And then the orange area are the public and staff restrooms. That's what the orange area is. And this is how the space would be reassigned. It would be in red is the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department would take the clerk space, all the office that Teresa West has. The Sessions Court room of Judge Collins would take that space, and also the judges' offices that are seldom seen by the public, and they're back in the corner. The sheriff's office would keep its space on the right side. That's where the sheriff's office is. That's where the chief's office is, and some other offices where the detectives would be used as a briefing room. In the back, in the blue area, what is now being used as the briefing room will be used to add offices for juvenile court services. They are in very cramped spaces, and so they would get that room and add at least two offices, if not three. And then the restrooms are just out of date and just need to be redone. As far as the renovation work for this space, for the Justice Center space, first thing would be fire safety. We have to address the fire safety of this floor. It's not sprinkled. We need to bring it up to code. The alarm system is antiquated, so that would be the first thing we would have to do, is address the fire safety improvements. And then the offices for the Sheriff's Department in what is now the clerk space. That's where the detectives will go, and so that would be addressed in this renovation. And then the office space where juvenile court services will expand. That would also be renovated. The restrooms would be repaired and updated. The whole floor would be painted, and some areas, especially like in the Sheriff's Department, there are offices that still have carpet that would be replaced. I think the courtroom floor, not the sessions room, but the criminal courtroom, that floor I think needs to be replaced. lighting, again, update the lighting to LED, so more efficient lighting. And then the roof on this building needs to be replaced as well. So that would all go into the renovation of this space. Now, in the back, the purple area is the criminal courtroom, and that would stay, functionally, that would stay the same for now, for the interim. And the idea is, I mean, we've got three new courtrooms, and all that activity is going on there in the new building, but just to see how things operate in the new building and in this building is just kind of, let's not spend any money on it, and let's just keep it the way it is, and then let's operate for a while, and then see how things go, and then we can decide what that space can be used for. Let's see. Okay, any questions about that proposal? Yes, ma'am.
Where's this money coming from? 'Cause
that's later on.
Okay, thank you.
That's
Commissioner Richardson.
Bill, this cost estimate you have here, where did that come from? Is that?
When we get to it, I'll address that.
If there's any other questions? Commissioner Howell?
Thank you, sir. When a child leaves home, you usually don't knock down the wall and say, oh, they're out of the house, empty nest, and because they'll come back. And so I'm kind of looking at it like we haven't even finished, we haven't even moved in to the $1 billion one yet. And I just wondering if we could delay that. And it's kind of like if a child moves out, I move my sewing room in there. So I don't understand why they can't say, hey, we've got this empty room, let's just, you detective go into that empty room without doing a whole lot of renovation, I guess is my point. That's all I need to, thank you, sir.
To address that, just real quickly, Commissioner, the detectives actually they would love to have an isolated place where they can close a door and they can do their work without adjacent peripheral noise, whatever. Right now, they're on top of one another, and it's really difficult. So to your point, again, this was always in a long-term plan to renovate the current Justice Center into the Sheriff's Department. And there is a plan, and Bill can present that in just a moment. But there is an end to the story.
If I may, real quick, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr.
And with juvenile court, anyone that's been over there can tell you, the juvenile court probation officer's office is a hallway that connects from the front to the holding area. They're supposed to meet confidentially with these children, which, you know, the law says they have to. The truancy probation officer's office is a storage closet that still has storage in it. So when a kid comes in, that's the professionalism we're showing them, is we're going to put you back here where we're storing bulk paper and we're storing the dress-out uniforms for the kids when we have to hold in our holding area. This is where this office is. I will be abstaining from any vote on this because this does directly affect my wife, but I'd just like everybody to know, you know, and if you get a chance to stop over there, they'll be happy if they don't have children in there to show you the areas they're sitting in where they're meeting, and it's a shame.
Anyone else? Want to carry on?
Yes. All right, next, part two of this presentation relates to the $1.5 million opioid abatement council grant that the county received. It's active January 1st and runs for 3 years, and it's to help to establish a jail to work program for men. We have a jail to work program for women that has been functional since December of 2017. One of the number one priority for the opioid abatement committee, the county's committee, is to start a program for men. And so We do not have a location for that yet. The concept would be to contract with McNabb Center to operate the program, which they do the women's program, and locate it in what is now the workhouse for the jail. In the jail to work program for women, just to give you a little background on that, is so far they've had 30 classes of up to 8 participants. 208 have finished the program, or 185 have completed the program. Over 1,500 applications have been taken from inmates. What the jail to work program does is basically take inmates who are in jail. They apply, they're screened, and those who are selected go into a treatment program for both substance abuse and mental health treatment. And they do that for about 8 weeks, along with job skills training and life skills training, and then they're placed in a job within the community. And it's been a very successful program that our community has really gotten behind, and so we want to expand it and then open it up to men. So the idea is to renovate the workhouse. Right now, the workhouse, this is the current floor plan of the workhouse. It's a great big room. It's a dormitory right now, and the inmates that are in it, I think it houses up to 40, are in bunk beds. And so, and then there's a commode area and a shower area and a laundry area, and an office now for the jailers. That's how it stands now. What the renovation would do would be to, first we would have to address the fire safety. There's no sprinkler system in there. The ceiling is plywood ceiling. It needs a new roof. So structurally, that building, no matter what we use it for, is going to have to be addressed for those items. And then repurpose the interior by adding 4 bedrooms, 1 group treatment room, kind of like a small conference room, a room for individual counseling, which would be the size of, say, a small office, update and reconfigure the shower and restroom areas, and then a living area and a small kitchen. There's 3,000 square feet in that space, and Mike, to address your question on $200 a square feet, 2 sources. That came from one architect, well, actually 2 architectural firms. To include, the $200 a square foot included sprinkling the building. Now, the cost of the health department space, let's say that when we bid that, that came back about $157 a square foot. But this $200 includes the sprinkling and the fire safety, and gives us some contingency funds as well. So that's at $600 a square foot. Same thing with the sheriff's department as well.
So commissioners, with what's before you, we've got 2 items to take up. Number 1, renovation of the sheriff's department. We'd like this commission to, the finance committee, to approve moving forward with renovations of the sheriff's department individually, that vote, and then we'll move to jail to work program, that vote. So if you would please take up those matters individually, and once that's taken care of, we've got 1 more addition.
Okay, the question that I would like to have answered is, where's the money going to come from to do the Justice Center?
If you look at...
I see this here, but...
Okay.
The $2 million available from interest, is that coming off the bonds for the jail?
Yes. That is correct. We're asking for a $1 million budget. The estimate is lower than that, but, you know, up to $1 million. We all know how that can go. We expect that to be. I mean, there's more to do in this building. This is the Sheriff's Department renovation, but there'll be more to add later on if funds are available. If we can do, there's other spaces that may need to be renovated for other uses. but this is what we're asking for right now for the sheriff's department to operate more efficiently.
Any other questions?
What kind of time frame, start to finish?
I don't have a time frame. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, we've worked on that some. If you approve one of our requests, this is the next step. And the next step would be to retain an architect to do some studies. That would start next month. And for the jail to work program, there's probably a little more urgency there, but the timeline is that that wouldn't be finished till 2027. The time, it'd be like 3 months to design it. And then you have your your bidding process, which is usually 6 to 8 weeks for a contractor, and then 9 months to build it. So, and the idea was to do both of these jobs together at the same time and get the benefit of the larger job. You get better prices.
Mr. Richards?
Question. If I'm looking at this time frame for the opioid abatement council grant, runs until 2028. If we started project today on the renovation of workhouse and we finished till 27, we're looking at spending I would say probably $750,000, $800,000 for a year.
Well,
worth
here's an idea that we had discussed with McNabb and that in the planning stages is they would start the program this spring, but they would have to use grant money and lease residences.
Who would pay for
housing.
that? Would McNabb pay for that?
It would be out of the grant funds.
Can they not just do that for the whole period? I mean, we're only going to get a year's worth of time. I may be confusing the two projects together if we want to vote just for the jail.
Let's talk on the jail
Okay.
first.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, the $2 million available from interest, is that all that we have available?
That is approximately what is available. That is correct.
And
And understand that this is interest money, that nothing comes out of our general fund to fund these projects. As presented, well, if we're doing the Sheriff's Department renovation, there is no general fund money coming out of that, just interest alone.
I would like to ask the question, and I know you probably don't have the answer. We've got a lot of unknowns here. We've not even got it open yet. So what are we gonna do if we commit $1 million for this and we run into some issues?
Can't argue with that.
Is what I'm
Right.
afraid of. I wanna see it done. I'll let somebody else say it.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, that is exactly where I'm at too. We've got a lot of stuff on our plate already. I think it's a project that, yes, we want to get done. I'm all for the jail to work program, but I would like to see us finish this, at least finish this budget year and see where we're at. We don't know what it's going to cost for air conditioning and water and da-da-da-da-da. I mean, you know, cleaning services, everything else. I just think it's an awful lot to bite off right now.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Richards?
The $1 million that we're using out of the interest, and we have $2 million coming in, we budget $1 million for that renovation. The other renovations where we move people around with the health department moving out, USDA, whatever, where does that money come from? Is that out of the $1 million?
We would look again at using this interest money to do that, yes.
So we're running that fund pretty low.
Yes, there is no secret here. There is a lot of things to be looking at as we move forward. There's a lot of need around of renovations and maintenance. There's no doubt there is that need there, but the Sheriff's Department being one of them.
Commissioner Green, do you have a question?
Yes, please, sir.
Go ahead.
Quick question. I noticed that 2 million of this is coming from the opioid, and it says that it's unrestricted.
No, ma'am, it doesn't say 2 million coming from opioid.
Okay.
It says 2 million is available and unrestricted.
Thank you for the clarification. Okay, is every bit of that 2 million unrestricted is my $100 question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, let me correct what I just said. There is 2 million in the opioid fund, but only 722,000 of unrestricted.
Okay.
Excuse me, I misstated myself.
You're fine. You're fine. I probably didn't ask my question correctly, so thank you for the clarification. So the 722,000, that is unrestricted. Do we really need to use it there? I'm like the rest of these fellas and ladies. I'm afraid of what's going to hit in the economy that we are in, because I'm hearing every day folks that are wondering if they can do this or they can do that. And I'm talking about medicine. I'm talking about groceries. I'm talking about raising children. And there's some expenses you can't delay. I mean, at my age, there's some things I can delay. But we talk of younger citizens, they can't. So I just don't want to put an additional burden on the taxpayers, to be honest with you.
I would concur.
Any other questions? Ms. Howe?
I feel very strongly the same way that, you know, and golly, we haven't gotten anybody out of the courtroom. And I noticed there's a couple of little rooms, once we get somebody out of the courtroom right there, that we could say, okay, you take over that room, and we haven't lifted a hammer. And I think this is in a perfect world, and I don't live there. And we would love to have this done, but I'm terribly afraid of when we open the jail and maybe we don't have enough staff or whatever, there will be glitches. Thank you, sir.
When would we lose the opportunity to get this grant?
Well, the grant, I think the window is closing very quickly. Bill, are you familiar when?
We've talked to the state about the delay in opening of the Justice Center, because when we applied, we were thinking that we could start it a couple of months ago. And they want to know as soon as we know. If we don't let's say you vote not to renovate this space, then what I would do is I would go back to McNabb and talk to him and say, okay, what's Plan B? And we've talked about a Plan B already, about going out in the community and renting space, and is that really something that they want to do? And if my impression is it is, but we'll just have to have that conversation.
If we were to vote to table the Justice Center part of it till January or February, till we see more what the electric, everything's going to be, is that something that we could do?
Well, the full operation of the Jail and Justice Center may not be until about that time. If you really want that depth of information, it may be down the road. I feel strongly that renovation needs to take place. I feel strongly we're in position that we can do that. But it's up to this body. You guys are the end of you're the stopgap, and just because I want doesn't mean I get.
One thought too about the money part of it is these are one-time monies. You know, these monies wouldn't be used for reoccurring expenses. They're capital funds to use for capital projects, because you won't have them again. As far like the interest money, that's one-time money. So that would be.
So that's okay, Mr. Doty.
Mr. Chairman, just one quick question. I know in the original plans for the new Justice Center, we were shelling the courtroom for General Sessions 2, and we decided to go ahead and finish it out. And what was brought before this body was that we were going to fund that out of the interest that we got from the bonds. Is this $2 million in addition to the money that we had from that? So we have made that much?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll just footnote this, that Thomas was actually the one that because he brought it up, I'll footnote that he made the motion to go ahead and purchase all our bonds there at one time, and because of that move, it's helped us to finish out some of the value engineering that was on the front end of our build that we've been able to back up and take care of that, plus have some extra.
Thank you. Can I talk out loud for a second and brainstorm here? So we have two projects looking at. One's the Justice Center, and we know we want to try to do, we've got to do something for the Sheriff's Department. So we know we're going to have some expense there. We've got a design fee of $93,500. Is that just a general design fee? Have you talked to an architect about that?
I have. I got that from.
So that could be prorated into schematic schedules and do some bubble drawings and kind of put some costs together for a small fee.
Yes.
Then we also have, on the other side of this, we're talking about the workhouse renovations, which we've got a design fee for it as well, but I think that's all contingent on us accepting that need there is contingent on us accepting the need for, or accepting the grant. Is there administrative cost to the grant that we have to match? Or any cost that we have to match?
There is, out of the opioid fund, there's $75,000 a year that was earmarked for the grant match.
So 75 times, was it 3 years?
Yes.
Okay. That comes out of that 1.2, or we have to pay it ourselves?
We pay it ourselves.
So there's another 75 times 3 plus the renovation cost of the $700,000, you might as well say. I'm trying to talk myself into one way or the other here. Bear with me. I just, for me, I think that if we had a better estimate of how much the renovation of the Justice Center would cost, a more clear definition of that, we could easily decide whether to go with the Justice Center project. And I think we're going to have to at some point in time, whether we do it now or after, 3 or 4 months of operation. But I'm hard to press to say, let's do the grant and the workhouse renovations, because I think there's just a lot of cost there that right now we just don't know what, out of that $2 million that we're going to get out of our interest, we're taking a million plus or minus for the Justice Center, and we still have to move other pieces and parts around here and there to get everything flushed out. I don't know how you put that in a motion, but.
Well, what we need to do, let's separate these two out. Let's take the Justice Center first. Mayor, one other question to verify what Mr. Doty said. So is there more than $2 million?
No, that is what is available right now. But see, there's been some other interest money that's already been used to finalize or finish out some of the value engineering that took place earlier. We finished out a courtroom that was first going to be just shelled. It has been finished.
Okay. All right, I think what we need to vote on then is either up and down motion on remodeling the Justice Center. Would that be, do I have a motion?
Matt, I have a question.
Do you have a question?
Yes, sir. So the workhouse renovation, this is a separate?
It's separate.
Okay.
Yeah. This is for the Justice Center only.
Mr. Chairman, could we make a motion to table that until March?
I'm asking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we table the Justice Center renovations until at least March, whenever we've got 3 months of information.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ahern. Any other discussion?
The one thing I might add, I think Commissioner Richardson may have been pointing toward this, and again, not tabling, it's your guys' decision, it's the commission's decision. Design study might help. I mean, that cost, as Commissioner Richardson pointed out, would be prorated if you just do the Sheriff's Department to do the design study, get a schematic, get more detail of what may take place there. And again, we can wait till March. I'm not trying to change your mind. It's just something that you may want to consider that we could do that.
I would be all right with amending my motion to to have some design study done, because that'll give us more information, and information is gold.
The cost, of course, if we do an information study today, schematic today, obviously those costs are not going to be held to that, but yet it'll give more information.
All right, the motion would read then that we table the Justice Center till March, along with
Some design study.
design study to be,
Fund a design study.
fund a design study to be available in March
Construction.
for construction cost. You all right with that, Mr. Harvey?
I'm fine with that.
Ms. Ahern?
Yes.
We've got a first and a second. Any other questions?
May I ask a question, please? Or
Yes.
In the, on the last page, the next step was exactly what you're talking about. And so we were gonna ask to retain Barbara Murray, which is the architect that's doing the health department, and, to do that study. And if that's where you wanna go, I'm asking, is that what you want us to do? And I think that would be more prudent than going through a procurement process, which is 3 months for that process.
So, can I speak? Yes. Barbara Murray's already on the payroll, so to speak,
Correct.
with the health department.
Correct.
It's don't necessarily have to go out for bids on a professional.
When you already have a relationship.
So it would be, we could do that.
It's allowed under our purchasing guidelines, yes.
Is that,
They're not changed or anything?
Professional
no,
services.
just be to add
Yeah.
Barbara McMurray.
Okay, you good with that, Mr. Harvey?
Good with that one.
Ms. Ahern? Any other questions?
Do you care to
We're
restate
gonna
that
do-
motion so I exactly know what you determined to do, sir? Please.
Remodeling of the Justice Center is tabled until March. We also are authorizing McMurray Architects to do a design for the Justice Center to have it available in March.
Schematic design.
Smack design, excuse me. We'll do a roll call on this one. Yes.
Abstain for cause.
Robin Vaughn,
Yes.
Debbie Ahern, yes. Dan Harville,
Yes.
Debbie Cow,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Mike Reed,
Yes.
Mike Richardson,
Yes.
Alan Walker.
Yes. Motion carries. We'll now take up the workhouse. Is there any questions on that one? Mayor, do you want to say anything before we?
It's up to this body. It's been presented as far as what we have. We've got a timeline with the grant, whether to move forward or not. Bill has indicated if this body does not accept it, we'll go back to McNabb and see if we can go to Plan B.
Any other questions? Ms. Green?
Thank you, sir. Couple of them. I noticed that we still have Mr. Britton as the chairman of the opioid committee, and I thought that was supposed to be our present mayor.
No, ma'am, that was always in place. Bill Britton is the opioid committee chairman, opioid abatement committee chairman. Yes, ma'am, that's always been in place.
Oh, all right, my misunderstanding. So we are paying him to chair that committee?
No, ma'am, we are not paying him to chair that committee. He is being paid to do consulting work that he's been involved with some of these same grants that we're talking about tonight that he's been involved with from the beginning, including the health department, including Broadband Ready, TDEC grant. He was in on the initial phase of those, and he's seeing those through.
Let me clarify my question, because I don't think I made it plain, and I apologize for my ignorance creating the question. So he is not paid, even though for that part, he's only paid for his other services, not as far as sitting and chairing the opioid committee.
To my knowledge, no.
Well, now, out of curiosity, my understanding, he was chairman of that committee back when he was mayor.
That is correct.
Why the difference all of a sudden in the change of order, sir?
I don't recognize what you mean by change of order.
Well, if I remember correctly, you are stated as a member, and I was curious if you were a voting member for the first thing. For the second thing, in the past, the mayor usually is chairman of that committee, and that's the reason I asked.
Maybe so. I allowed him to stay on as opioid abatement committee chair. That was a decision made very early. I'm sorry I didn't check with you on that.
I didn't ask you to check with me, sir, just to clarify my point. I just wanted to make sure I understood correctly.
Is there any other questions? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we table this decision on the workhouse renovation and the, I guess how am I trying to say, the grant, execution of the grant until we get further information back on the Justice Center renovation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ahern. Any other discussion?
Now, will that put us then in March, that also the workshop will have their, all our work done?
There's no date on this one.
There's no,
Can we not put it all together? And didn't he say that it'd be more efficient for us if we put them both at the same
well,
time?
my opinion is we need to see the cost of the Justice Center renovation. After we see that, we can decide if we want to, if we have the funds, not if we want to, but if we have the funds.
Let's do it two separate.
Separately, yes.
Any other? Mr. Doty?
Is this going to, motion also going to include the architectural studies and draw?
No, I don't think we need to spend any money until we see what our costs are going to be on the Justice Center. After we see the cost of the Justice Center, then we can decide, yes, we've got funds to go forward with it, or.
Any other questions?
On the workhouse renovations, it looks like all the money's coming out of the opioid settlement money, that we're not using any of our funding there. It's just opioid settlement money.
Well, we still have $75,000 a year that
Yeah,
we have to
I understand that. Yeah, but I'm just asking as.
additional costs other than just.
Yes, yeah. I just wanted to be clear on that, yeah.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Rodney Long,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Bobby Vaughn,
Yes.
Debbie Ahern, yes, Ben Harville,
Yes.
Peggy Howe,
Yes.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Mike Reed,
Yes.
Mike Richardson,
Yes.
Al Wolf.
Yes.
Chairman, I need to correct my statement. Commissioner Green, I was in error. He has put down on his time sheet opioid abatement committee. So I was in error when I said that. My apologies.
Thank you for the clarification, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor.
Move on to 5E, budget amendment. We'll start with the Board of Education. EI is Hamblen County Department of Education Budget Amendment 5, an increase of $67,300. Mr. Ladd?
Good evening. So we have amendment number 5 for $67,300. It's really two pieces. One is to accept the U-Trust grant and budget it. We use that for middle school beta, competition, middle school scholars, DARE program, and staff appreciation. That is $39,300. Next on the list is to add a part-time SPED teacher at Whitesburg. Currently, we have a SPED teacher that splits their time between Whitesburg and Witt. The needs have grown at Whitesburg. primarily due to behaviors, and we need a teacher to fill the second half of the day. Any
Do I have a
questions?
motion?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Harville, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Walker. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Ladd.
Thank you.
We'll go to E2, Fund Number 101, Accounting and Budgeting for $29,235. Ms. Hale?
Commissioners, this budget amendment before you is the one to fund the grant special project position that the mayor presented earlier. Again, this is for half a year. It's salary, benefits, retirement, and health insurance.
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
First, Mr. Doty, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ahern. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hale?
So, this is for half a year, so, when the budget comes around, this person, it could become full-time.
Well, it is a full-time position.
Okay.
It's just to fund it for the 6 months.
Thank you.
So when we do budget next year, then the money would be there to fund the whole entire year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go to E3, Fund 101, the data processing of $34,395.
So again, this funds the new position for IT, half a year. So the annual budget on this one would be $46,000, but for 6 months, it's $23,000 plus taxes, retirement, and insurance.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Richardson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Howe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go to E4, Fund 101, it's General Sessions Court, $37,835.
This is to fund the new magistrate position that the Judge Shimkowski and Judge Collins asked for. I did just want to make a note on this one. I budgeted it all in Judge Collins' budget in General Sessions 1, just because all the other magistrates are already in his budget. In General Sessions 2, which is Judge Shimkowski, only his salary resides there. So rather than try to split it between two departments, I'm keeping all the magistrates together. So that's, when we come around to budget again, this position will all be in Judge Collins' budget. Just want to make that note. But again, to fund it with taxes, benefits, and state retirement.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Ahern, second by Commissioner Huntsman. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go to E5, 101, other facilities and maintenance, $25,800.
This is to fund the new maintenance position that will be taking care of the new Justice Center. Taxes, salary, taxes, retirement, and health insurance.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Harville. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Reed. Any discussion?
Question, sir.
Yes.
And Miss Amanda gets done with this. I noticed in our printout of checks, we had several funds that had zeros budgeted to them, but we had one that had a negative $141,951.52. When you get done explaining, I just have a few questions in regard to some of those, if you please, ma'am.
Any other questions, discussion on this item? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move to F1. It's a change order, number 1, from the Hamblen County Health Department of $10,730. County Mayor.
Yes, this change order for our Hamblen County Health Department. This is owner-driven in the fact that we've asked for additional electrical and data-driven ports. It's relocating the Ag Extension IT room from the Ag Suite to an unassigned space on the perimeter of the Health Department to provide another office space. That is what the $10,000 change order is about. That's owner-driven.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Richardson. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Howe. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go to 5G, change order number 2, the Hamblen County Health Department, $36,628. Mayor?
Okay, this change order number 2, again, the documents are there, but this is more requested for the health department. There is some county space involved, but it is a minor changes with the dental clinic that the health department has requested as far as how it's designed. As well, there's some more additional electrical and data ports that we have since decided there may include a voting precinct in this area. And because of that, there was a design discussion about how the flow will go as the voters come in and walk through, and where the machines will be set up. They were needing electrical and data ports at those locations. I'm sorry, not the data ports at that. It's only electrical for the voting machines, but as you come in, computer access at the front. There was an idea that as a reception table, there would be computer access as people come in and register. Yes, sir.
Voting machines at the health department?
No, sir, not at the health department. At the health department complex, it'll be a separate area. If you will, we've got the health department area, but then there's a part that the county has with Ag Extension and some other areas. We'll be storing our voting machines there at that location and creating a new precinct.
Not voting there, but storing them there.
No, sir, we will be voting there. That is the idea.
That's what I wanted. I don't know if you've heard or not. The election commission had it where we'd have 6 polling places in Hamblen County. They had a meeting, I went to it, and met with the state, a podcast, and it come through, and they recommended that we have 8.
That's correct.
Since that time, they had a meeting down last week, and I went to it too. It was voted down, we would not have these 6 central located places.
That's correct.
Because the state said you had to have 8. It costs more money to operate 8 polling places than it does the 15 that we've got. So everybody will be voting where they have been voting.
That's correct. Yes, sir, I did know that.
That was passed by the election commission last week.
That is correct.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
So you won't be voting at the health department?
No, sir, we will be voting at the health department. They're going to create a precinct there and maybe relocate the courthouse precinct to that one. I'm not sure. They're going to try to use part of the health department complex as a new voting precinct. It's not a convenience center. It will be a precinct of one of the 16, I think, that we actually have.
Yeah, it's not in this election running we're having in 2026. That's what I asked, why you want to spend money now when you're not going to be voting out there. Originally, I would be voting at the health department annexed. Now they're not.
May I add that we will eventually be voting at this precinct. It will not be available for the May cycle. No, it will not.
Any other questions? Ms. Howe?
Yes, sir, thank you. Because we were paying for storage for those machines, and now they'll all be there.
That is
okay.
correct.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Quick question. If I understood you correctly, they were going to replace one. Which one are they replacing, or did I misunderstand?
Ma'am,
what you
the
said?
election commission will do that. They're going to utilize, I think it's the courthouse precinct that they're going to move to that location, but that's beyond my knowledge at the point. I know they were trying to create a new precinct and eliminate, like parking here at this courthouse is difficult,
Yes,
where
sir.
they enter. So they were looking at that maybe to replace this precinct here to that location in due time.
Thank you, sir.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Aaron, second by
Amen.
Mr. Huntsman. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6 will be your items of interest, your planning commission, your trustees report, a few other items. Make sure that you look over that. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you, Chairman Long.
Mr. Chairman Hahn, before you
Yes.
get into that, is there any way that we can ask Miss Amanda about the checks that we had that showed our budgets, where it showed zero, but it showed like negative numbers, sir?
Can you have it?
I can try to answer them. So tell me which ones you're looking at.
I looked at one through the other economic and development. Zero was budgeted, but it had a negative $141,951.52.
Sure. So that is related to a grant. And we didn't budget anything there because it's grant reimbursable. And when the grant funds come in from the state, then I'll do a budget amendment and put the money in that line. It'll be an expense and a revenue. So I'll increase the revenue and increase the expense, the budget for the expense line, and that will wash it out. I just haven't done, until we get that revenue, I don't want to do the budget amendment and have to come back and do it if it's a different amount.
Okay, will we have that in there for the next budget that's coming up then, or is it just a one-time deal?
It just depends on the grants that we're receiving. And that's the way, if you look over at the line for special patrols, that's the SRO. I think we've talked about it before.
That was the next question.
And it's all to do with grants. Until the grant funds come in, I don't want to budget it.
Okay.
And
That was the second. Now, the third question, we had one postal charges for the election commission, $2,943, and I thought that was a bit high for them.
so, apologize if I get this wrong, but I think the election commission is going through the process of purging their rolls.
Okay.
And so they have to notify people. Jeff told me this, and I apologize, I won't get it right, but if you've missed a certain number of federal elections, then the state will remove your name from the voting roll. But they have to make contact with these people to let them know, these voters. So that's why this postage is up substantially, is because they're trying to make contact with the voters who may be purged if they don't respond.
Okay. And you had one under other contractual services, and it was for $4,440.40. And I was it said prior year.
I can't find it right off, but what happens in our accounting software is if we have an open purchase order at the end of the year, we roll that, we expense it.
Okay.
And so then if we come around along and we pay the invoice after the first of the year, it lists it as a zero. We try to put down at the bottom of the paper what it's for. I noticed one on here, for example, was a conference or registration fee for the sheriff's department. So they had already registered for the conference. We paid for the conference last year, but they didn't attend the conference till probably like October. It was on the credit card statement. And so that's why it's on here now. We've paid it in 25, 26, but it's already been expensed. And that's just the way our software works, that because it's already expensed, it shows it as a zero.
Thank you, ma'am, for the explanation.
Move on now to Personnel Committee and Chairman Stan Harvey.
Call the Personnel Committee to to order. Any visitors wishing to address the committee, you have 3 minutes. Seeing none, number 3, we have no old business. Number 4, the new business is approval of education pay submissions. You see the one on the next page there. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Doty.
Second.
Second, Mr. Horner. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, likewise? That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Harville. We move down now to Public Services Committee. I'll call on Chairman Mike Richardson.
Seeing none, we'll carry on to old business, item 3A. There is none. Item 4A is approval of the 25-26 Hamblen County Road List submitted.
Mike, we can barely hear you over here. Can you tilt your mic a little bit better, please, sir?
Is that better?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Item 4A, approval of the 25-26 Hamblen County Road List.
Make a motion.
Have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Harville. Okay. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, carry the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the like sign. That's all for that. Item 4B, Hamblen County Government Cybersecurity Policy. Mayor Cutshaw.
Yes, through the comptroller's office, they are asking each county to have a cybersecurity policy. If not, it could create a finding for our county. Therefore, I ask our IT director, Jeff Atkins, to give us something. Now, this document is an initial document. There's always work to do. There's always changes in artificial intelligence, if you will, and IT technology. As of right now, this is presented to you as our policy for Hamblen County. We can have something in place and satisfy our obligations. And once again, we can amend this as we move forward with other information that becomes available.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
By Mr. Harville. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Walker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed by the like sign. Seeing none, motion carries. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson. We'll move now to Bulk Waste Committee. I'll call on Chairman Tim Horner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll call the Bulk Waste Study Committee to order. Anyone wishing to address may do so at this time. You have 3 minutes.
I'm not really sure. My name is Linda Shalhoub. I live at 5665 Chestnut Oak Drive, Morristown, Tennessee, 37814. It is in the Seven Oaks subdivision. When I first purchased my house back in 2001, we used to have the pickup, and it was around every 2 weeks. For the last, I don't know how long, we're now into the 6th week of there's been no pickup. My neighbors have their sofa out there. We have bushes out there. Prior to that, when we tried to clean out the ravine, that sat out there for 6 weeks. I don't understand why what used to take 2 weeks to do is now 6 weeks. I understand that there's probably more houses, more developments. But when that happens, you should hire more people we have rats from 2 houses up from us that are in the road. People run over them and they throw them into our yard. This is becoming not only on the front side of our house, but the back side of our house with our ravine. So this is another issue, Mayor Cutshaw, that we are dealing with, and something needs to be done about it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
8150 West Point Drive, Gwendolyn Holden. We have the same problem at West Point. It's been 6 weeks since they pick up the bulk waste where people put out. Like I said, I don't do that, but there are other people that do. I don't like looking at it. It don't look good. It makes it look bad. And the people in West Point are real neat with theirs. They have it fixed, stacked real pretty, and it looks good if you want to put bulk waste out at the road. And I appreciate them making it look good. They could just throw it all over the place, but they don't. I don't understand why you can't get it picked up. We pay the taxes, pick up the bulk waste.
Anyone else? Seeing none, item 3A, old business. There is none. Item 4A, Hamblen County Highway Department Household Refuse, Trash, Recycle, and Bulk Waste Disposal Information. Mike Richardson, Hamblen County Highway Department.
So what we have here is a policy that has been in place probably for the most part. This policy has been in place for over 20 years. When they first started this, trash pickup and bulk waste, Tommy McKinney's been working on this. Mr. Weiscarver's been working on it. We've got input from our bulk waste drivers, our garbage drivers, and this is the original policy, if you will, with some alterations that address the automated side loaders, about the 2 feet from the road, within the road, 4 feet around it, nothing piled up on top of it, those kind of things. So what Mr. McKinney's asking for with this is just confirmation, because he would like to start addressing some of these issues that we see all the time. If you were here last time, we had a bulk waste, slideshow that showed, some areas that need a lot of attention. With the current drivers we have, it takes about 4 weeks to get around the east end and four weeks to get around the west end. So there's where you come into your 6 weeks. If you have somebody that puts something out just after we pick up, it'll lay there for a while. Mr. McKinney's asked us to approve this, and so he can start enforcing the bulk waste. Any questions about this?
I have one, if I might, please.
Go ahead.
I know some of this came out in the paper, but everybody doesn't take the paper. Older folks don't go on the internet. Is there any way possibly that we could tag a garbage can so that they could put something on there so that they could refresh their memory? I don't know about the rest
We
of
have
it.
been tagging, and we have not mailed anything out. If you'll go back to the video, you said we had mailed stuff out. I told you twice last time that we did not mail any mailers out. But we have been tagging the trash cans. If we see a problem, our guys take a picture, they write it down, they talk to the secretary. She's got it when they call in that your garbage can was too close, there was something on top of it, there was debris laying around it, those kind of issues. Or if you have construction waste in your bulk waste, I noticed in 7 Oaks, there's some construction debris out there. Somebody's already, on the new area that we just finished working on, somebody's piled some plywood up beside it. So there's things like that that we always kind of go back and try to pick up. But, if you start on today and they bring it out tomorrow, it's 8 weeks before they get back there on the average. Hopefully it'll slow down some because of the winter months. The trees aren't being trimmed as much. We lost a lot of ground with the hurricane. We spent, 6 months probably just picking up hurricane stuff. So we get behind and we try to catch up. We tag trash cans. We tag with some flyers, trying to get this word out. We've tried to put it on social media. I think they've even tried to put it in the radio as well, and the newspaper. So,
If you would do it though and just tag the garbage cans so that they could see them. I'm not talking about when they mess up. I'm talking about for reminders for everybody. That
when
way,
we go through the neighborhood with the automated side loader, we have people go in front, make sure the cans are turned right, and we tag the handle. And that way, when they come back through, when they pick their trash can up, they'll see that it's been tagged. And usually somebody will read it and say, oh, this is what I got to do. So,
let me clarify.
yeah.
I'm not talking about when it's messed up, Mike. I think you misunderstood me, sir. I'm not talking about when it's messed up. I'm talking about put it on there, and I've had several in my community that have made this recommendation, and it makes sense to me. Put it on there so that when they put theirs out, they can physically see what it needs to be. That's the first thing. Second thing, you said the secretary had pictures. One of my neighbors that was in to see me last month went far enough after you told me that. He called. He talked to Sharon out there. There was no pictures. He said he talked to you to start with. You referred him back to Sharon. She said there was no pictures, and they had not given her a list, but they had tagged his
Can you
garbage
give me the
can.
name? Can you give me the name?
I'll have to go back and pull it. I
Give me
know.
the name. Sharon's not there anymore. We have a new
Well, I
secretary.
know, but we talked about this last month, and at that point, you told me they made pictures after when
They
they
do.
tagged them. And she told him they did not have pictures, so somebody needs to get their communication
Well,
straight.
sometimes they have pictures on their phone and they don't download it to Sharon until a phone call comes in.
Well, they didn't
So
get back to him,
It's an
that's the
awkward
first thing.
process for them to drive, take pictures, and download it as it goes. So sometimes they come in at the end of the day and do that.
I understand that, but my
So get me
point
the name of
is,
that person
there
and I'll
needs to
make
be
sure
better
that we talk to them.
communication there, okay?
We're doing the best we can with the resources we have.
That's my point. But thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody, Mr. Thornton. If I understand Ms. Green correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, you're wanting us to tag every trash can in the county as a reminder.
Well, it would be a better reminder.
Mr. Richardson, can you?
It's about 20,000 cans,
20,000 cans.
plus or
so-
minus. We're selling more every day.
Yes. So I would assume we're looking at tens of thousands of dollars to pay someone to get out and go through and tag each one of them. Tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, I have a solution for that, sir. You should never recommend something unless you've got a solution. The $14,900 that CAPS had to pay back to the county would be useful in that manner, sir.
Pretty
I think that
pretty
is
simple, just
proper
turn
for
your
this.
handles towards your house. I don't understand this problem. I just don't understand it.
I don't either. I don't either.
Mr. Chairman.
I didn't know that the garbage cans was part of the bulk list. But it's just sharing some information from the other things versus from the county. To help fix this problem. If I may.
Yeah, go ahead, real quick.
Again, my name is Leo Shaloop at 5665 Chestnut Road in Seven Oaks. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got a tag, and it was on my can, and it said that I had yard waste in it, okay? My neighbor, her can was too close to that couch that's been out there, but there was no tag. He walked right past it. Last week, my neighbor across the street had it properly positioned, but the lid was up because there was another bag. But I went over there and there was no tag. We need to know how this game is played. It's like playing solitaire, but I'm going to start, but I don't know how it's played and no one's telling me. And if we have this information, it will reduce so much stress and confusion because we don't know. Y'all started this program. Here you go. Figure it out. Good luck. I'm not complaining. I'm suggesting something like that will be a one-time done. One-time done. I mean, y'all invested $1 million in 2 trucks. What's another $14,000 with 20,000 cans or whatever you're talking about? And the way that you're doing in the media, not everybody has those type of medias. I mean, I called my neighbor and told her that it wasn't picked up. And I told her why. She goes, I didn't know it had to be 4 feet. The information has to be passed to us to know, to learn, to understand. And when something is rolled out like this, that has to be part of that budget. If you're going to spend $1 million on 2 trucks, it's going to be part of it. That's all I want to say. I mean, I get a tag. She doesn't. She's not learning. I'm learning. Heck, I didn't know. You know, I got to know what the rules are. I got to know. It's like going on a highway. You got to have a turn signal to turn. You got to be the speed limit. You got to maintain your own lane. I don't know these things. We all in this community, in this county, with these trash one-armed bandits, we don't know what we're supposed to and not supposed to. We're so confused, we don't know if we're whining our butt or scratching our watch. But what Commissioner Green is suggesting, that is the solution. Or take stickers, and since you have guys going through the neighborhood, place it on their stickers, the stickers on it, and it's on the can. And it'll be on the next can, it will be on that can for the next person that moves into that house, if they're renting or whatever the case may be. It's a one-time fix. That's all I want to say. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you from my end, from the community end, that's what we're getting. That's how we feel. We need the knowledge, and we're not getting it. Thank you. I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Chairman Horner.
I know some of when we first did this, stickers were put on some of the cans, and after 2 rains, the sticker was, or they pulled it off, or so it's just been a tug of war, and like Commissioner Richardson said, our trucks were hijacked by FEMA. That's what I want to say when all that storm came up, and that's really got us behind, and we were picking up everything, and now people think they can just throw everything out, and that's not the way it is. Bulk waste used to just be brush, period. And how we got into furniture and couches, but this is a service, we're the only county in Tennessee that does that.
Well, when they did the ravine and removed the wooden forms, they put it out on the road in the corner. Your own county did.
Chairman Horner.
If I knows the rules, it should be them, the road department. But they placed the wood out on the pile, and if you like to see a fix, I'll be happy to show you.
Commissioner Green?
First of all, I have heard what he's saying time and time again. I know some of you don't want to hear it, but I've heard it from constituents in District 14 going and coming. I've even heard it from folks in Bobby's district because I do some of their taxes. But we failed to communicate this. That's the first thing. Second of all, most of you in here are younger than I am. Most old folks, and my mother's one of them, don't do Facebook. They didn't see it in the paper. Mother takes the paper. We have failed to get the word out. That is my point. Now, I realize and I appreciate Commissioner Doty bringing up the money because I appreciate that. I love to see people be budget conscious. But we've got that extra $14,000 laying there. Why not use it this way? It's needed. It would serve our citizens, and it would take care of the possibility as well. And thank you, Mr. Shalhoub. I'm thankful that you're here today.
Anyone else? That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Horner. Move now to
Well, we can. For the enforcement purposes? Yeah, my bad there. I'll need a motion to, go ahead and policies, okay. So I'll need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Walker, second by Mr. Carden. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Ayes have it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Horner, appreciate that. Move now to Calendar and Rules Committee, Chairman Thomas Doty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the Calendar and Rules Committee meeting to order. If there's anyone wishing to address this committee on agenda items, you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll move forward. Old business, we have none. Item 4, new business. 4A is a review of the regular calendar items. Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Mr. Horner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4B is review of the consent calendar items. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Horner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. It's a second. Is there any discussion on this matter? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Having no items of interest, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Doty. That concludes our committee meetings for tonight. Couple of reminders, announcements. On the 11th, which is Thursday, we have the employee breakfast. Starts at 6:30 a.m., runs until 9 o'clock at Rose Center. Then we have the commissioners' dinner on the 19th, starting at 6 o'clock. And you can see Mr. Carden regarding that. One other item that has surfaced a lot, I want to get some clarification on it. It had been brought up several times about our road commissioners and missing meetings and yet getting paid for them. The statement was made in here that they weren't paying their money back, and we were covering for them. We were trying to, I guess, aid in the bet. There were 7 road commissioners involved in the overpayment. 5 of those 7 have completely paid the money back. As a matter of fact, all of them, with the exception of those 5, all of those had it paid off back in 24. 2 of our commissioners still owe money, but they're on a payment plan, and they've been making monthly payments to wipe that debt out. So 5 of the 7 are completely at zero balance, and 2 others are making monthly payments. So I hope that clears that up, and we can put that to rest. Excuse me? Oh, okay. Well, I'm just telling you the information I got.
Quick
just before the
question.
meeting. I did, just before the meeting.
Canceled.
We didn't cover that. I'm just telling you the information. No, it's not a problem.
Chairman Hahn.
Problem with you and your group.
Chairman Hahn.
We're adjourned.
Chairman Hahn.
Mr. Mayor. Trish needs to see you. We gotta quit letting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Amen. Amen.